Welcome back to Dickin' Around Outdoors. Today we have a blustery polar vortex day here in Chicago. So we're inside and we're going to talk about camp lighting. Now, camp lighting is a subjective topic. Some people love big lights on poles. Reminds me of camping in a Cracker Barrel parking lot. Other people like festive moods, so they have strings of Christmas lights all around their camper or their tents. And other people are very minimalist. They have a headlamp and that is it. We sort of fall in the middle. We tend to take with us, especially on our longer trips where space is of value, we'll take headlamps, and we're also quite fond of M-Powered's Lucy lights, which are, well, these are the Lucy Light Pro, I believe is what they're called, and they are able to recharge on cords or solar recharging, and you can use the battery to charge your other devices if you want to. I'm not a fan of using lighting for charging other devices, but it's possible in an emergency. Now recently, a company called Outask reached out to us and asked if we'd be willing to review their TD1 camp light. And I'll be candid with you, I'd never heard of Outask before. But once I got online and had a look at what the product was, I was pretty impressed just with the features. So I said, absolutely, I would love to test this. So Outask sent us this camp lantern. It's called the Outask TD-1, and it's got a ton of neat and innovative features that I can't wait to show you because I think it's a great light. So let's unbox this. Let's see what comes in it. Okay, so what's in the box? First off, you have a quick start guide that talks about the operation of the light, the unfolding of the tripod legs, and a quick warning that says the head of the light can get hot, so be careful grabbing it once it's been operating for a while. You get the owner's manual, and this is in multiple languages, so the actual English is only about 3 pages long. It's not a real long manual. You get a charge cord, 3 titanium tent stakes, and these stakes are used to stake this to the ground when you have it on the ground and the head extended, so that gives it more stability. You have an additional set of stickers that replace the ones that are in the tripod legs if you want to make sure that you can see this in the dark. It might glow in the dark or be reflective. And you get a Dyneema wrist strap that you can use if you wish to secure this to your wrist when you're carrying it. And lastly, we get to the meat of the subject, and that is the actual lantern itself. And I did take this out earlier. It's fully charged, and I noticed some things that I really like about this already. The first thing is that the button to operate the unit, it's a single button, and it is sort of indented into the body. And I like that because if you're fumbling around at night in the dark looking for the light and trying to turn it on, a lot of times flush buttons are difficult to feel. If you're fumbling around with this, you can feel that button and turn it on. On the back of the unit is the charge port. It's covered with a thick rubber seal. I'm going to open that up. And inside, you have a USB-C and a USB-A. Now the USB-C is both a charge for the unit and an output that you can use to charge your other electronics. The USB-A is solely to charge other electronics. So make sure when you're done charging that you put that back in place, because this unit is waterproof to some extent. The light and the pole are IPX7, which means they can be submerged in up to 3 feet of water with no damage. The battery and the tripod of the unit are IPX6, which means that they can be in a strong spray of water, so any rain, thunderstorm, that kind of thing will not damage this as long as you have the seal in place. So just make sure that you always replace that. Now on the tripod legs, you can see the reflective stickers that I talked about earlier. It does come with some attached. Also in the leg is, each leg has a hole. That is for the titanium tent stakes that I pointed out earlier in the box. when you want to secure this to the ground. And on the bottom is a cool little feature. It's a button that you push when you want to extend the tripod legs. So to extend the tripod legs, you simply push the button and the legs pop out. Another aspect is a small Dyneema loop right here. And in a minute, I'll show you the importance of that, but essentially what this allows you to do is hang it from a light pole or on the inside of your tent, on the top of the tent. Now let's talk about specs on this for a minute. The unit is, I won't say it's heavy, but it's not light either. It weighs about 1.9 pounds, according to my scales, and the weight is primarily centered at the top here, because that is where the battery and all the circuitry and controls are. The battery inside this is 12,000 milliamp hours, so it's a fairly chunky battery, and it takes, at the 18-watt charging rate of the battery, about 5 hours to charge it completely from dead. The unit is shock resistant. It's been tested from a 2.6-foot drop, so basically if you're carrying it and you drop it, it's tested to not break when you do that. And it's also designed to operate in cold temperatures down to minus 4 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 20 Celsius.
And just to check, we were fortunate enough last night that our temperature was minus 3, so we're right on the threshold of this light's operating temperatures. So let's see what the battery looks like. So yes, it operates after sitting outside all night in minus 3 temperature.
So let's check out the most unique feature of this lantern, and it makes it really cool. You telescope it out slightly, and then the head of the lantern, where the light is, opens up. Now this light will rotate 360 degrees, so you can place light wherever you want. It also will go 180 degrees up and down, so it can face north and south, if you will. So you can have the light pointing towards the lantern, you can have it pointing directly away from the lantern, or you can have it anywhere in between. And that makes this extremely flexible. So I hope at this point you can see where we're going with some of the flexibility of this light. Now we've come out to the garage to give you an example of some of the things it can do. So first off, the dimensions of the light, as it is closed up, are about 2.6 inches by 10.2. But I'm going to show you how large this light can get. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to open up the tripod, and then we're going to telescope this. And one of the great things about this is you can stop this telescope anywhere you want, so that you can set the height anywhere that the telescope goes. So let's open it all the way up. And now, with the unit opened up like this, the dimensions are 10.2 around, roughly, by 36 inches tall. So it's about 3 feet tall. So let's show you some of the flexibility. The first sort of flexible idea that I see is, let's say you're sitting around a campfire and you have your nice low camp table sitting here between the chairs, and you've poured yourself a wee nightcap. Now, if it's really dark, you might reach over to get that nightcap, hit your glass and knock it off because you can't see it. Now, don't ask me how I know that, but it can happen. So we set up our light, we extend it to the full 36 inches, we tilt the light so it's shining on the table, we turn it down to the low setting, and I'll get to the settings in a minute. Now we've got some light on our table so we can see what's there, but it's not so bright that it's interfering with the campfire. So campfire ambiance is a great feature of the light. So let's go to scenario 2. You're out on a trail, you got a flat tire. You need to change that tire and you need light. So we're going to take advantage of the magnetic feet and set this up so we have light on our tire while we're trying to change it. And as you can see, we've just stuck the light to the fender, extended the telescope, and tilted the head to get a great angle on those lug nuts that we can then use to change that tire. Let's say we want to set up our tire table. We simply move the light to the hood, and now it's going to shine down on our tire table, and allow us to have light without having to set it on the table. This will also work as an extendable flashlight to see down in hard to reach places. Now the light itself does have 3 settings and 2 color temperatures. So this is the low setting on the white, which is 40 lumens. If we go to the medium setting, we go to 250 lumens, and the high setting is 500 lumens. Then with a quick tap, we change the color to a yellow, which is a little softer color. And on the cooler color temperature, we also have a low, medium, and high setting. And if you are in trouble or need to signal, it does come with an SOS function. Now, one other really neat feature of this is not only can it be used as a camp lantern, but if you telescope the head, spin it, put it back, you now have a flashlight. Now this is what I would call a flood flashlight. Its maximum distance on high is only going to be about 98 feet, but you're going to see a wide breadth. So this is not going to be a tactical flashlight where you need a large, precise beam, but in a pinch, it works really well as kind of a broad beam floodlight. The button itself, we talked about it a bit earlier, but just to give you an idea of the operations, you simply push it once and it gives you the battery status. If you push it and hold it down, it does turn on the light, as you can see. Double tap it, it changes the color temperature. Now the white light on this is 6500 Kelvin. The warm light is 3000 Kelvin, if that's important to anyone. Double tap it again, you get the SOS, and then hold it down for 3 seconds and you turn the light off again. The light is surrounded by what looks like the plate on a meat grinder. That's actually designed as a heat sink to keep the light cooler. This is the part that you're not supposed to touch once the light's been running for a while because it can get hot. Battery life on this unit is really impressive. On the low setting, the 40 lumen setting, this will run for 65 hours. On the medium setting, which was the 2500 lumen, it will run for 17 hours, at which point it automatically moves to the low setting and gives you another 3 hours. On the high setting, this will run for 6.5 hours, and then it will switch to the low setting for another 7 hours. So really, really impressive battery life with this. Now clearly today we've done an introduction. I've done an unboxing of this. I just received it. We haven't had it out and tested it in the camping environment. We're going to do that. We will come up with another video kind of giving you an update once we've used this for a season, because we really want to give it a workout. But in the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed an introduction to this really unique and impressive camping lantern. Something else I will say, if you go onto Amazon, you can see other lanterns that kind of look like this. But I'm really a buy once, cry once kind of guy, and I'm also someone that supports the innovators. So I will guarantee you that those other knockoff lights, number one, probably drive these guys crazy. But I will guarantee you that those knockoff lights do not have the same impressive build quality. They're not going to have the same battery capacity, impressive lighting technology, and they didn't come up with it. So far you've seen it. I think this is an extremely impressive light, and I'm really looking forward to getting it out. So as we wrap up this introductory video of the Outask TD-1 camping light, what do I like about it? First off, the battery is exceptional. To be able to get between 6.5 and 65 hours of light, that's really impressive. The size of the unit. For a camp lantern of this flexibility, to have it this small means not only can you take it in your backpack, overlanding, but also for motorcycle touring and canoe touring, this thing would fit the bill. It's nice and compact, and you can carry it in those environments. The flexibility is exceptional for this light. The ability to spin it, move it, set it on a tripod, stick it to your car, and have the light where you need it is really unique. They've done a great job designing this. You can tell they've spent time. And the build quality. It seems to be really well made and is going to hold up for the long term. Now, if Outask came to me and said, can you offer any suggestions for improvement? I think the first thing I would probably tell them is it possible to include a small, not fancy, but small hard case that would hold not only the light, but the charging cord and the tent stakes all in one package so that you don't lose parts of it as you travel. And the other thing would be, this really isn't even a suggestion. It may be something that some people struggle with, is that the current list price for this light is $199. Now, I think it's worth it. I think the build quality, the innovation, right? It doesn't come cheap to build things like this. But that's going to be pretty pricey for a lot of folks out there. It is currently on sale for $149, and if you use the code below, you will get a further discount. But the price of the light is going to be prohibitive for some. Not for everybody, and for those that can afford it, I think this is going to make a great light. So that's not really a suggestion, it's just a thought. Otherwise, I can't think of any reason why this light wouldn't be on your list, at least to investigate as you're looking to buy gear. As always, if you like this kind of content, please hit that sub button in the lower right-hand corner, give us a thumbs up, and share this video with all of your like-minded friends. Stay tuned for our further update on this light as we get a chance to use it, and take care, and we'll see you outdoors.